morning, Americans. This is your favorite alien and Boo-Boos Baba here on the morning of Wednesday, July 8th, 2020. And today I want to do a commentary on Black Lives Matter, which is a misnomer. It should be all lives matter. And I'm going to tell you why in a second. First, to those of you, whether you're black, white, Asian, Latin, or whatever, that are 80 and 90 years old. You remember when you were young, back in the 40s and 30s and 40s, how it was. The Depression, the Jim Crow laws, the segregation, and the racism. And yes, it could have been bad in some places and not so bad in others. In the South, it was pretty bad, especially here in Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi. South Carolina, too. And in the North, you had sundown towns up there, which you still do. You remember those, don't you, people? But you remember that there were some people on both sides. Whites that didn't like this and looked as white as African Americans, or blacks as they were called back then, as people. Human beings, fellow beings, human beings with the same aspirations and the same as you did. And they were called the inward lovers. Remember that? By the whites. And then you had blacks that looked at the whites the same way those whites looked at you. Equal as far as being a being. And that's the problem. You never understood the word equality. Nobody is created equal. You all have disadvantages that you got to deal with. But you're equal as far as being a human being. You both got 2 legs, 2 feet, and you're born basically the same. A few of you aren't, but hey, that's part of nature. And you were called by you guys, you're being too white. And you can't get away from that, African Americans, because you did. I know a few of you that I had a friend who used to get blasted by you guys because he associated mostly with whites. Because that was who he was. That was his ideal of what America should be. The American ideal. And that was a white institution, remember? The whites created this country. Whether you like it or not, that's what happened. And he wanted to be part of the American experience. So, of course, he made a lot of money, more than blacks did in those times, in the 80s. And he got killed by his own kind. Why? Because he was too white. Yeah. But you guys that are 80s and 90s, no matter what pigmentation you are, you remember the 30s and 40s. And look at now. You guys have accepted music from the whites. You guys play it. Music from the blacks. You whites play it. Rock and roll. Elvis. I mean, that was a black music. And he played it, and he got millions of dollars for it. The Temptations, the Four Tops, black groups, filled their stadiums with mostly white people. You see what I mean? And look at the food. You got mostly black and white dishes that everybody eats. And also you got Italian and Polish, German, and even Japanese. You fought a terrible war with the Japanese. And a lot of you Americans like sushi. And go to the Benihanas, you know, the hibachi style cooking from the Chinese, or the Japanese. You also go to the Chinese food restaurants and Vietnamese food restaurants. I've seen a lot of African Americans there at all these places. I've seen a lot of Latins. I've seen a lot of whites and Europeans. So if you can do this, why can't you sit together and integrate yourselves into one human culture? And you blacks down here that are growling at Senator Loeffler from Georgia because she says that she's not going to support that Black Lives Matter, and you want her out of the Atlanta dream. Why? She's right. And you know me, I hate Democrats, and the Republicans are a close second on my hate list because they don't do nothing for you. But Senator Loeffler on this is right. You guys are becoming a faction on the Black Lives Matter. If you would have said all lives matter, then yeah, she would have had no gripe. And if she did, I would have growled at her for having a gripe for that. Because all life, human life on this planet matters. Whether you're black, white, yellow, red, or what. But you guys created a faction. Like you created NAACP. That's a faction. You can't rule with factions. So until you guys understand that black lives don't matter any more than any of the other lives, you guys should change that to all lives matter. This is your favorite alien, and Poo Moose Bubba, saying to all of you, no matter what your pigmentation is, that are American citizens, whether you're naturalized or born here, the way to save this country is John Kasich and Tulsi Gabbard. And a lot of people have written me, we don't like John Kasich. Well, Mr. Kasich will have to make, and something that he would do and Ms. Gabbard would do is, you're here to serve and restore the country. That takes precedence over your views, political views, your social views, and whatever. You're there to do a job. And those two can do it. This is your favorite alien, and Poo Moose Baba. Good day.